Okay, so hello everybody, welcome back. I hope you guys are doing well and good evening everybody. We are in our lesson number 67 and that is mixed projects part 4. Just let me check if I'm live and then we can get started with it, right? Okay, perfect. So I'm live, let's get started. Now you already know that we have covered a lot of sessions already in this particular playlist, right? And this is lesson number 67. I know that already 69, 70 are already done, right? This is lesson number 67 because I have already covered mixed projects part number 5, right? This was missing out, which was mixed project part number 4, and that's why I'm completing this. So uh, before looking into this particular video, please go ahead and watch the mixed projects 5 because that video came first, and then you can come here and you can learn JS mixed projects 4. Okay, so in mixed projects 5 we have done some of the projects. We learned about how to create a landing page, how to create a form validation or authentication page, and how to create a counter application also, right? So these all applications we created in our JS Mixed Projects 5, and in this one JS Mixed Projects 4 we are going to create some more applications on JavaScript, and we are going to see what are those. And yeah, so let's begin right now. If you guys are new here and you do not know what is happening, so let me just tell you that we are CodeBeyond by Unacademy, and we are providing free course content on different domains. So I am here handling front-end development, in which I'm just explaining you guys what all things are required to be known if you're going for an interview on a front-end developer or web developer, right? So that's what I'm covering here, and I've already done HTML, CSS and JavaScript, and it has done a good job. So you can just watch all those sessions if you want to learn from the beginning, from the scratch. Not even one single topic has been missed from that. So all the topics, all the deep down, everything has been covered, and it's well organized. So you can check the playlist for this. And let's begin. Now, if you do not know about me, then let me just introduce myself. My name is Ritwik Raj and I'm a corporate trainer. I also worked as a subject matter expert and a research analyst in most of the edtech companies. It's been 3 years that I have been teaching young graduates and corporate employees, and I've trained more than 30k students till now. It is increasing day by day. Subjects which I take is mostly into front-end development, back-end languages, database preparations, and interview guidelines, tips and tricks on how to crack interviews, right? If you have not followed my sessions, then you must not be knowing about it. So just let me tell you that yesterday night I did take tips and tricks part 1 and tips and tricks part 2 to crack interviews. So if you have not gone through those playlists, please go ahead and watch it, because I've told lots of things about companies and about interviews and all, and it will be a really great help for you guys if you'll watch those sessions, right? So go ahead and watch those 2 sessions which is there in interview preparation, cracking interviews playlist, tips and tricks part 1, tips and tricks part 2. Soon I'll be coming with tips and tricks part 3 also. Let's see when I'll come up with that. Okay, so if you guys are watching this particular live session, please give me a hi or just say hello or just put up a thumbs up. It will be really good because I'll be able to know who all are watching this session. And yeah, so I have a very good news for you guys, that you can use my code RIT10 to get a free level sample test paper, right? And if you do not know what is level, then don't worry, I'm going to just tell you about it in 1 minute. But if you already know what is a level and you know that you have to give an actual test, you must be knowing that this actual test is of 1000 marks, right? And you have to get an understanding of what kind of questions can be asked there. So that's why you can use this code RIT10 to get a free level sample test paper which will guide you on what kind of questions can be expected in the actual test, right? Now coming to Relevel, if you do not know what is it, let me just introduce it to you, right? Now many times what happens, candidates miss out on great opportunities because of their degree or maybe because of their college, right? Sometimes what happens that they have done a BSc, BC or BCom and they want to move into IT field. They have the skills, they have the talent, they have done some projects also, but MNC companies will just see their resume and they'll see that they are doing BCA or BSc, and that's why they will not call you guys for an interview, right? But you have the skills, correct? Same happens to the engineering graduate, that the MNC company sees that you're from tier 3 college, and that's why they just ignore you because they want best of the students from tier 2 and tier 1. So these are the things because of which your resume does not stand out with those 100 others applying for the same company or startup, right? That's why Relevel came into picture. It is India's first test hiring platform by Unacademy, which is helping job seekers find their dream jobs. So you can get a job based on your skill and talent, right? Now, on how we will judge on whether you have the skill or talent or not. So you have to give a free test of 1,000 marks, and if you score above 700, you will be able to get an profile for yourself. You'll become eligible for that, and that profile will be shared about all the client companies, including top startups and unicorns. So over 1,000 plus job positions across business development, backend development, and front development are there. So there's a very good chance that you will get interviewed and you can get hired as well, right? So with Relevel, you are in a unique position to invite interest from companies instead of hunting for opportunities on your own. Correct? Now, these all are the benefits and things about Relevel. Now, how to register for it in the website, right? So the website link is given in the description, the video description. If you can find a link there. Click on it, will take you to level.com, and there you need to just put down a mobile number and get an OTP. Once you do that, you will be able to select the test of your choice. So based on your skill, which particular test will be your thing, just choose that, and then you can book a slot when you want to give the level test, right? Slots are limited, so I suggest you to book it fast, and then you have to fill in the details: full name, email ID, birth year, current state, gender, and the coupon code. So the coupon code will go here, and you have to just click on apply. So the coupon code is RIT10. Let me repeat, it's RIT10. And once you click on apply and then create account, your account will be created with the sample paper on it. Remember that if you're not using the coupon code, sample paper will not be present here. So please do not forget to use the coupon code RIT10. Once you do that, your sample paper will be downloaded, and you'll be able to get an idea on what kind of questions can be asked in the actual test. So do not wait, because as I said, slots are limited. Go ahead and register it for today right now. And if you've already done it, then all the best for the actual test. If you have not done it, do it now. If you have not done it because you're not ready, you think that 1,000 marks paper, how I'm gonna do it because I don't have those many skills, then go ahead and look at the playlist, whatever CodeBeyond is giving you, because with that you'll be able to stand out and you can upskill yourself with all the educators coming live with different domains, backend programming, Python, SQL, databases, CP, DSA, front end, these all things are there. So when you're upskilled, when you think that you're ready, go ahead and then register for Relevel, right? Okay, so please join the Telegram channel as well. The link is in the description. Joining the Telegram channel will make sure that notifications and updates are coming for you, right? So that you get to know which particular educator is coming live at what time with what topic. And also please do subscribe the YouTube channel, which is CodeBeyond, so that more and more number of people will get to know about it. And also please hit the notification bell so that you get notifications in your YouTube app as well. Also, if you're liking this session, then please like and share. It will be really good, because more and more number of people will be able to see these sessions, and they'll be able to fetch this kind of knowledge from this video, right? Okay, so now we are into projects, and we are going to do some more projects. We have already done many projects in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Today also we are going to not only see the JavaScript projects, but we are going to also see some of the HTML and CSS projects, right? Small things that are very useful in designing your particular web page or website or any project, right? So those kind of projects we are going to create in this session. Okay, so without wasting much time, let's get started. I hope my students are already coming in, so please drop me a message in the live chat so that I get to know that you guys are there and we can talk also, right? So I'm now in my Visual Studio Code, and hi Amit, good evening. So let's get started with the code, right? And I hope and I believe that the mixed project session, when I did the mixed projects 5, right? When I did part 5, I did not do it in web development project folder. I just created one new folder, right? So let me just open that. So I'm gonna do open folder, and I'm going to just open that folder itself. It was named something like code projects, right? Yeah. So this was the basic thing where I was doing the project, right? And I remember that I was doing validation, and we got some errors in the script.js part, and it was not running, right? So let's check out whether it is running right now or not. And this is my browser, if you can observe. Okay, so I'm just going to run this and let's see whether my validation project is working or not. So if I just open it with live server, this is the project which is there. And now if I just enter any particular thing, right? Let's submit. So yes, it is saying please enter a valid 10 digit. So this error, this was not showing in my mixed project 5 video. If you have seen that video, you must be observing that this was not coming and I was not being able to find the error. So the error was just one mistake, a silly mistake. I think many of my friends have also commented in the live chat about that, and then I got to know that this was the error. So basically in my script.js, I did not, this particular dot position, the dot position spelling was wrong, and because the spelling was wrong, that's why it was not working. But now it is working, and you can see it is giving me a enter a valid 10-digit mobile number. If I put any text, it's gonna give me again the same error. If I give any phone number, if it is not 10, again it's gonna give me a error. If I make it 10, it's gonna take it. Now it's gonna tell the error for area of expertise. So I have to choose that, and now it's submitted, right? So this was the project which we did in my previous session. And now let's create some more projects and let's try to understand how that will work. Okay. So we have done counter, landing page, and form validation. So now let's start doing some of the bars. That means some navigation bars or sidebars, and let's try to understand how that happens. Okay, so here what I'm going to do, first of all, we are going to do some small projects so that it finishes quickly, and you can also get to understand how those are working. So let me just choose some of the project which is very easy first of all, and then we'll move to the hard ones. Okay, so okay, let's choose this one. So what we are going to create is we are going to create a full screen bar. Okay, and let's just create a folder here. First of all, let's just say hi Somu, welcome back. Full screen bar, this is the folder name. Inside full screen bar, obviously we need to create an index.html, and we'll also create a CSS. I don't think here we need a JavaScript, so I'm not going to put that, but CSS is required. So full screen bar is what? Full screen bar is basically, you will have a full screen. Okay, and in that full screen, once you click on one of the button, then a menu will come, and the menu will cover the whole screen itself. In the whole screen, that menu will be showing it to you. So you can see some of the web pages that have this kind of a style, right? Just let's write the code and let's see what we want to do here. Okay, so here I'm just going to write full screen mode. Okay, and also I'm going to link it with my CSS, right? Let's save this, let's close this, let's open it in the browser, and let's check out first whether it is giving me something or not. So this is my page which is ready, and every time I write one code, one CSS part, I will move to the browser and I'll show you what is happening here. Okay, so let's come back to the code now, and let's try to write the code here. Fine. Now obviously if it's a menu bar, then I need 5 links, 5 A tags, where I'll have home, services, contact, about, and maybe something else, right? All those menu bars should be there. So let's create those menu bars first. So before that, first we have to do our container, right? So I'm going to create our container. I'm just going to write id my nav. This is just an id, a class also. So let's say overlay, right? And to this particular thing, I'm going to create an href, which I'm going to just, I'll put something here later on, not now. I'm going to give a class here, and let's say, so what I'm doing here is, this is the close button. Okay, so in the container, the very first thing which you can see is a close button. Now what is this close button? This close button will be able to close my menu bar. So let me do something. if you're not getting an idea what I'm talking about the full screen mode, so let me first open up my result itself and let me show you what am I talking about. Okay, so let's see if it opens up. Yeah, I think you can see my screen now. You can see my browser. So this is the application. Okay, and you can see here there is a just one particular click, right? A particular design in which open is written, and I need to click it. So once I click it, you can see that in the full screen this menu is coming, and whenever I'm hovering into these, I am getting some white color, right? And the background is black color, and then there's a cross button. So this cross button, what you can see, right, this is what I'm creating right now. So this is what I'm creating right now. Here you can see close button. That's what I'm creating right now. Okay, but here some challenges we need to find out. So let's first observe the project very quickly. Okay, so what is there in the project? See, first of all, there is nothing here. There is nothing. There is just one particular thing in which open is written and I need to click on it. So there's a click event, right? Click event happening. That means on click will be there. So once I on click, what happens? A whole different pictures comes in, right? A whole different thing itself comes in. And also this is happening in a transition. Can you see? From left to right, it's coming. Can you see? It's coming from left to right. Correct? So that is also a transition, or we can say transform or translate. And then we have this. Now this we can create easily. This cross sign we can easily create, right? But understand that this div is a different div. This black color thing and this white color thing is a different part, right? That's what we need to create now. So let's do that. Let's go to the code. I think now you got an idea what we are doing. So this is the close button, okay, which is the class. And I'm going to put one on click here, and I'm just going to say here close nav. This is the function which will get called. So we'll have small JavaScript, not much bigger, just a small JavaScript to just do the clicking part, like when you click the open button and when you close the cross thing. Just for that, we are going to write one JavaScript. Okay, so here, this is what we have done, and I'll just close this. And here what I'm going to do, I'm going to give here and times. Okay, so let's observe what is happening. If I save this, if I go to my browser, so you can see here there's a cross sign which is coming. It's very small. So let me just increase the thing. So you can see here there's a cross sign which is coming, right? This cross sign is coming because of and times, the element which I'm using, and times. I'm not getting in live chat. What happened, guys? I hope you guys are there. Okay, so we are getting this particular sign, right? Which is very small. In CSS, we'll increase it. But right now, let's keep it as 125% so that we can see the cross sign. I don't know if you can see it. I guess you can see it. Okay, let's move to the code. So we have written that particular thing, okay? And now we will create our another div. So this is the div in which the menu will come, okay? This is that another black color div, okay? So for here, I'm going to give a class, and this name I'll give overlay content. So please make sure that you know that this class is overlay, which is having the background color white, and this is that particular div element, which is having the background color black. So this is named as overlay content. And to this, I'm going to create my anchor tags, whatever links I need to create, right? So I'm just going to keep it empty right now because we do not want here anything. And I'm just going to write here home. Similarly, I'm going to create for all of my links. So let's say if I have 5 links, I'm going to just create that. Okay. And just changing the names. So let's say services. Let's say portfolio, let's say about, and let's say contact. These are the 5 things which we have created, right? Let's save this and let's check out whether it is being shown or not. So if you look at the browser, you can find these things, okay? But till now, CSS we have not given, and that's why these two things are shown in the same page. Once we will use CSS, what we are going to do is we are going to hide this div. Okay, we are going to hide this div first. This div, that is your overlay content div, that we are going to hide it by using maybe display none or maybe something else, right? And once we will hide this, then we'll give a command to this cross button. So once you click on that, what's going to happen? It's going to open up this part. That's what we are going to do in our code. Okay, so let's try to complete the code. So this div is completed. Here what we are going to do, Kanaka Raj, I got a question. I think earlier also you asked me this. So I have very good news for you. Basically, because of your comment, I think somebody else also commented about this, that please come up with the Relevel questions for front-end development, because in front-end development there are some of the questions which are very unique, and we want some explanations of that, right? So that's why I'm coming up with one session in which I'm taking down 20 to 30 questions from the level test paper, and I'm going to solve it in front of you in one of the session. So soon I'm coming with that, and at that time we are going to discuss about this input and all, how it's gonna work. So all those questions I have with me, I'm just going to prepare about it, and then we are going to come up with that session. Okay, so that is on plan, don't worry. Now span, and here we are going to put up the that open symbol. Do you know the open one? When you click that, then the black screen comes in. That's what we are going to put up here. So first of all, I'm going to just write here style, and let's give a font size, because the cross sign was very small. So first of all, I'm just increasing my open thing, the first page. I'm just increasing that. So let's say 30 pixel, and cursor as pointer. Okay, and you know these things, what cursor and all will do, so you will be knowing about it. On click, I'm just going to give here open nav. That's my second function. So in JavaScript, two functions are now created, close nav and open nav. I'm going to just give a command here. You know why I'm doing that on click here, because this is the cross one and this is your open button. So open will open that particular page, and close will close that particular black page, right? So we'll write a code, but before writing the JavaScript code, you should tell me what should be the JavaScript code, because you have seen the result. So now you should be able to tell me that what should be the JavaScript code for this part. Okay, I'm going to use here one of the hexadecimal values for that menu kind of bar which was coming, right? So for that, I'm just using this statement. Okay, let's save this and let's check out what is happening in my browser. So you can see here we got all the components, all the written components, all the design. So structure is ready. We got everything in my web page. We got all the designs and everything, right? So now what we have to do, we have to hide this whole thing. We have to hide this cross. We have to hide this home services, portfolio, about, and contact. And once you click on this open, then a black screen should come, which will tell me that, you know, these all things we will get there, right? That's what we need to do. So let's start that. So here what we are going to do is, let's go to the code first, and we are going to first write the JavaScript. I did not get any comment for my JavaScript part, no worries. So let's write the code. Here itself we'll write the script part, because a script part is really small, so we don't want to create any external style sheet. So whenever your script is very small, you can start writing here itself. There are two functions, as we know already. We have open nav, so just going to write the description about that, and also we have one close nav, so we are going to write the description about that as well, right? So for open nav, what we are going to do, let's understand. So what do we want? Open nav is in this particular thing, right? So once you click on that, what do we want? We want this overlay content to be shown, right? To be shown directly. What is this overlay content? This overlay content, is it this one whole complete? Is it this whole complete, right? So what I'm going to do, this whole thing, I want to make it appear, right? So let's do something. Let's write document dot get element by ID, because I have the ID. What is the ID? You can see above there's an ID, my nav. You can see this ID, right? My nav. So to this my nav, I'm going to do style, width, and I'm going to just give 100% so that this whole thing will take the whole page, the whole width of the page, and it's gonna give me the output based on that. Okay, so here I'm just giving this style.width, and you know that you can use JavaScript to change the CSS properties. That's what I'm doing. I'm using JavaScript to change the property of my nav. I'm changing just its width to 100% when you're clicking on this particular button which is open. And for closing, what I'll do, for closing, I'm going to do the same thing, document.getElement by ID, and this time I'll use my nav itself, but this time style.width will be 0% because it needs to get closed, right? So I'm going to just give here 0%. Fine, this is what I want, but right now it's not gonna work very clearly because I've just written a script. I've not hidden. Okay, am I back? Is it fine now? Is it fine now? Okay, cool. I think we are back, right? Can anybody just give me a that I'm back? Yeah, I'm back. Perfect. So let's open this. Let me show you my browser. So you can see here, you are getting this, right? Once you click on this, right now nothing is happening. Why? Because I've not written CSS. I've just written style.width 100%. It's not going to do anything because I've written the JavaScript functionality is done. But if I click on it, still this is already here, right? I need to hide it. Then only it will become 100%, correct? So that's why writing the CSS is important first. So let's come back to the code. And now, first of all, let's write the CSS of this. And then we'll again run that particular code. Okay. So let's write the CSS. Now in the CSS, we already have style.css. Let's save this. Let's go to style.css. And in the body, I'm just going to give some of the font family. Let's say font family is Lato and sans serif. After the body, I'm just going to give dot overlay, and you know what is dot overlay? Dot overlay is the first div element, this one, right? To this, I'm giving overlay. To this, I'm going to give the CSS properties. So let's say what I'm going to give. Height, I'm going to give 100% so that it takes the whole height, the whole screen height. And then I'm going to give width 0. And position should be fixed. Here we will have top and left as well, because we are giving the symbol there, right? The cross symbol and this overlay, you know what is it, right? This overlay is this one, and this is the cross symbol. So this cross symbol will be somewhere, right? So I'm just giving top 0, let's say left 0, and then I'm going to give here Z index, let's say 1, and then the background color. Okay, so background color, I'm just going to give a background color, and here I'm going to give RGB. So let's give our black color here, and also I'm going to give one more color, which is RGBA. For RGBA, I'm just going to give here 0 0. 1 second, let me use the tab. 0 0, and here in alpha I'm going to give 0.9. So you know what is alpha? This is nothing but opacity, so it will increase the opacity. And overflow, I'll use X. You know what is overflow X? Again, here understand, overflow X is hidden. Overflow X means horizontal, right? So that is what is hidden. So I've made it hidden right now, and I'll do a transition, not transform, transition of maybe 0.5 seconds, correct? So that's what I've done for overlay. Okay, so right now let's observe if anything is happening in the browser. First of all, so here you can see, because I've used hidden, overflow X hidden, so the whole content of overlay will be hidden. So here you can see in the browser that it's hidden right now. And if I click on it, I am getting the page. If I click on close, it's getting closed. Again, let me just maximize it. One second, guys. Okay, so here you can see clearly that if I click on this open, what's going to happen? Okay, overflow X, I've written X, that's why it's coming like this in a horizontal way. And I've given a command in JavaScript, right, that if you click on this, then the width will become 0%. So when I click on this, width becomes 0%, right? Right now, this only overflow X is happening here. If you look at this one, see, overflow X is happening here. And then when I close again, it goes back, right? It goes back. But in my code, right now, when I close it, it doesn't go back. It just vanishes, right? Because I've not written the code for it. So we will do that. Okay, we will do that now. So let's come back to the code, because just now we have written only for overlay. We have not written for overlay, content and other CSS also. That's why that is not working. So what I'm going to do here is, here I'm going to just write overlay, and for content we are going to put up. So overlay content, and this one I'm going to make it position relative. Why relative? Because we already have overlay, and relative will make sure that it's parent element. You can see here that overlay content is the child and overlay is the parent. That's why I'm using here relative. Okay, position relative. So for position relative, I'm going to give here top, let's say 25%, and I'm going to give here width, let's say 100%, and text align, I'll just put it around center, because we want all the text to be in the center. And also I'll give a margin top. So margin top, let's say I'm giving 30 pixel. Again, this is all trial and error method. These values are not mucked up by me. These are all trial and error method. Okay, so let's see what is happening. What we have given overlay content, right? Overlay content is this part, all the 5 things. What we have given, top 25%. That means there will be a space above at the top. And then you have given width 100%. So it should cover the whole screen itself. Text align is center. So all the things will be in the center. And then margin top is 30 pixel, right? So let me just go back to the browser, and I'm not going to save the file right now. I've not saved the file. But what I'm going to do is, first I'm going to bring it back to 100%. Okay, and now I'm going to click on this. Before clicking, let me save the file. If I click on this, you can see everything is now in the center. I don't know if you can see it. It's blue in color, that's why it's very small, but it is written there. Okay, everything is there. So let me just increase this, and you can see, okay, the cross sign and everything is there. Okay, but now what I have to do, I have to make it much more bolder. I have to increase its font size, and I have to make it come in a vertical manner, right? So that's what we are going to do. Okay, now, so let's come back to the code, and let's try to do this. Okay, so here we have the links, right? So to all the a links, to all the hyperlinks, we are going to provide that vertical thing, so that one by one everything should be done. How can we do that? Inline, inline, right? So right now it is in inline. We need to make it as a block, right? That's what you have to do. So dot overlay content, it's inside content, right? The a tag. Even if you use overlay or you use content, that's gonna be the same thing. So I'm using dot overlay a, and to the anchor tags I'm going to give some of the properties. So 8 pixel, and text decoration will be none, just to make sure that there should be no underline and dot symbols. Font size, I'm going to give here 36 pixels so that it becomes big, and then I'm going to give a color to it. So let's say I'm going to use a color which is lime, and then I'm going to give a display. So again, it's already inline, so this time I'll be using block, and the next thing I'll be using a transition. This transition will be of 3 seconds, right? Now that we have done this, let's check out what is happening in my browser. So if I go ahead, you can see the code, right? Okay. So let's reload and let's click on it, and you can see now it's there. But still, if I close this, when I close this, then the transition is not happening in an X direction. It's just vanishing, right? So that is one thing which is left right now, right? So let's do that as well. Let's go to the code, and how we'll do that? We'll just do hover effect, and we'll also do the close button part, right? So that in close button, it moves slowly. So this is a very tricky part. Okay, what I'm writing right now, not that one, but the next part. So here I'm going to get overlay A. I'm going to give an hover effect so that the color changes, right? Also with this, I'm going to keep and focus also. So overlay A focus. Focus means once you also want to click on it, or you are just moving your mouse over it, that's hover, and that's focus. So here I'm going to change its color. So let's say I'm going to change its color to white itself, a pure white color. And now have a look what I'm doing right now. This is very important. This is the most important thing in your this particular project. So overlay and to the close button. You remember the close button, the small cross sign? To this, what I'm going to give is, I'm going to give position absolute. Now, do you know what does this mean? What is the meaning of absolute? Why am I giving absolute here? Because if you look here in overlay, we have given here overflow X hidden, right? So when I give position absolute, that means inside the close button also, this should be done. This overflow X hidden, these all properties should be done again. So absolute means parent element can go follow kare, right? So that's what I'm doing here. And I'm going to put down for close button just some finishing touch like top, right and all, so that it gets placed in a correct position. Right now the cross symbol is very small, right? So I'm just increasing that and keeping it in a perfect position. Done. Now let's save this. Let's move to my browser and let's check out. So if I click on, so you can see here, it's now in this portion, and when I'm hovering into any one of them, it's becoming white. So if I close this now, so you can see what's happening. Okay, let's go back to the code, and let's write the last part, which is our media query, right? So let's write for media query, media screen, and maximum width we are going to give, maximum height we'll give, because that's a full screen of 450 pixel. And here we are going to do dot overlay A font size, let's say 20 pixel, and I think I have given a bracket here. Okay, so overlay A, I have given font size 20 pixel. Let me just write it in this manner so that you can understand what is happening. And the next thing what I'm going to give here is to overlay and close button. To these two, what I'm going to do, I'm going to again write, some things will change. So let's change the font size. Let's make it as 40 pixel. Right now it was 60 pixel, but I'm making it small. And also the position. So position, I'm going to change it to 14 pixel. Next thing, I'm going to change its right thing to 35 pixel. Okay, so top right font size, everything is done here. Now let's save this and let's check out. So here open, and once we close it, it's getting closed, but we have to also see the media query. So in media query, we have written for the links, what should happen to it? Its font size should become 20 pixel. Right now, the font size is 36 pixel, but it should become bigger once you come inside maximum height of 450 pixel, right? So that can be seen in your inspect element. So once you go to inspect element, once you click on this, you will get a bar here, right? 1 second. Yeah. So here you are getting a bar, right? So this bar, if it is, you can see here what is happening. So once it is inside 450, once it goes inside 450, everything changes. What all thing changes? Font size becomes 20 pixel, this part, and also the cross button. The cross button is becoming, it's moving top and right. Can you see here? Have a look, right? So top and right, it goes close, it goes more close to the corner, and the size changes for this particular thing. So that's what media query I've written here. Okay, I'm showing you here itself because my screen size of the browser is 70%, so you won't be able to see the differences if I change the height. Right now in this way you can see the changes because it is responsive, and here you can see what's happening. So I've given max width height, not width. Please make sure about that as well. So this is your full screen bar. If you want to use this anywhere in your website or web page, you can use this code and you can design this. Okay. So this was about your full screen mode. Okay. This was full screen. Now let's try to do some more programs. And before that, let's read some comments. Okay. I'm preparing for JS interviews. Can I just watch your JS videos and not HTML CSS? Vimersh call, you can. It's all upon you. It's just that in the playlist, all the videos are mixed. Okay, it's HTML, CSS, and JavaScript together. So just make sure that if you already know HTML and CSS, go ahead and watch JS part. Okay, and only watch JS videos. Understand how and what I'm explaining. And please do watch advanced JavaScript sessions because those are main concepts of JS is covered in those sessions. Advanced JavaScript part 1, part 2, part 3, and part 4. So yeah, Vimersh, that will be really cool. Relevel DSA test is not having proper ID and boilerplate code itself doesn't work properly in taking the inputs process. STD in event handler is not used properly there. Please discuss the procedure. Okay, Arnav Dubey, I'll check on this. I'll try to find out what is wrong with it, and I'll just take a screenshot. I'll just pass it to the team and I'll say that, this problem is happening and let's see what we can do. Okay. But thank you for the feedback, whatever you're putting. I have no idea what you're writing and spamming the chat. We are deleting the messages because any spam messages will get deleted. So if you're spamming, your messages will get deleted. So I have no idea what you're telling about Champions League test series. That's why I'm not replying to it. Okay. Okay, so full screen we have already done, right? And this was all about full screen, but we also have some kind of other screens. Okay, so let's try to create that. First of all, let me show you what are those kind of screens. So we have done full screen. Let's now go to our sidebar and let's try to do that. Because in sidebar we have some JavaScript codes and it will be really good if you will know and understand what is happening in that. So let's try to do that. But here, let's open this up and let me just show you how this works. So have a look here. I hope you can see my screen now. So this is one of the project which is sidebar. This was full screen, correct? So when you click on it, this gives you a full screen, right? And if I go here, you can see here there's an animation happening with this particular symbol. It's just blinking, and if I click on it, you are getting a sidebar. So only from the sidebar 30% of the window is getting captured, right? and that is what is a sidebar. So in the sidebar, I'm getting these all things. There are a lot of animations which is given here. As we hover, the whole width is having a blue color, and the color is also changing of the text, right? And there, in all of these four, there's a transition given of, I think, 3 seconds maybe, right? 3 seconds of delay is there in all the transitions. And then here also you can see these all font awesome icons are used here, right? In down, Facebook, Twitter, Behance, LinkedIn, right? These all icons are used here, and when you hover into these becomes black. So you know how to do this because I've told you, I've explained on some of the projects how to do this. But the most amazing thing, if you look here, if you click on or just hover in this cross, it just rotates, right? So this is also a cool thing. You can do this using rotate. I've explained you how to do this. So we'll try to create this kind of page, right? But before that, let's try to do something in this one itself, because we know that if I click on this, it's giving me a width of 100% and it's opening everything, right? So what if I go to my code and open this index.html for full screen bar, and I just give here in the JavaScript, not width the 100%, but just let's say 40%, right? So what's going to happen if I do that? So if I save this, if I go to my browser, if I click on it, you can see what's happening, right? So isn't this a sidebar? This is also a sidebar, right? This is also a sidebar, right? So this also you can do. Even if I give 40%, this is also going to work. And we can just apply animations to this, the same animations which is happening here. And we can also apply the same animations here, right? So the half of the code is exactly same. And we just need to put up this thing here. What's that? The symbol here, right? Which is always blinking. So let's see how we can do these things, and let's create this page. Okay. I hope you understood what I said. Fine. So let's get started. Now let's come back to the code and let's create a folder here. Let's name it. Oh, 1 second. Sorry. Yeah. Let's name it as sidebar. Right. And let's click on it. Let's create a file here. So let's say index.html, and JavaScript will also be there, and there'll be a lot of JavaScript here. Not a lot, but yeah, there is. So let's create all three files. Style.css. If you're doing it with me, then please do let me know. It will be really good. Script.js. All these three files are created. Here I'm going to just create a create a skeleton. I'm just going to write here sidebar, sidebar, let's just say sidebar. We have all the three things. Let's include our link so that we do not forget it. And href we are going to put here style.css, and in our body we are going to put up script, right? In this I'm just going to put up src script.js. Cool. So these are the things which we have done. Let's close this and let's start coding. So first of all, let's create the body part of it. So in the body, as you have seen, what all things do we have, right? If I go back to the browser, you can see we have this particular thing. And if I open this, we have these all things. And we have the font awesome icons also. We have the crossbar also. So we have mostly 4 things. One is the cross thing. One is this thing. One is this content, and one is these font awesome icons. So all of these things will come in the body. So let's start writing that part. Okay. So the code will be exactly same what we have done earlier. So there'll be no, extra things which we need to put up there. So let's start writing the code. But before that, we need to add some font awesome links as well. So I'm going to add link for my font awesome. So here I'm going to just add link and going to paste this. Okay, so font awesome CDN link is already given, and let's start our code now. Right. So first of all, the button is there which is getting toggled, right? Hi Sarthak, aaj kya karoge bhaiya? So I'm doing some projects, some small projects, Sarthak. Very small projects like, it will really help you in creating a project, because if you're creating a website or a portfolio, this sidebar, navigation bar, and drag and drop, hamburger menu icon, these are some famous things which is always looked by interviewers, and they want that things should be there in a web page. So that's what I'm teaching right now. And we just started. I think the first project I did, second one I'm just creating. So let's see how do we do that. We are creating button first of all, because that's a toggle button which we are doing. So I'm going to keep on a class. I'm just going to say here sidebar toggle. Okay, this is the toggle thing which we have created. This is the button. Here I'm going to give an I, because it's an icon which I'm using, and already we have one icon, flaticon, which I'm using, font awesome, which I'm using. Flaticon is also one of the icons library, but here I'm using font awesome. So I'm going to use here fa bars. This is gonna give me the icons, right? So let's just check out whether icon is coming or not. Let's save this. I've not run this program, we have not opened it up. If you look here, let's close this. Let's run this particular page in the live server. And yeah, so we are getting here this particular bar. If you can see, I don't know if you can see it. You can see here, right? This is what I'm getting. So we need to make it change and look like this, right? So how you'll do that? Very easy. Just use CSS and some hover effect. It is gonna work, right? So let's come back to the code and let's try to write the other parts. So here I'm going to give an aside. Okay, in the aside I'm going to give class, let's say sidebar. This is the portion where your cross button and your home about and those things and the font awesome icons, all those things will come here. Okay, so aside, I'm going to give a div element, let's say class, and in the class I'm going to just give a sidebar header. Just creating a container inside the aside, and now I'll have an image. This image is not necessary. If you want to put a logo, you can put. I don't have any logo right now. Let's do something. Let's create image src. Let's see Unacademy dot jpg. Okay, we'll try to find one image and we'll try to put it there. If image will not be found, we'll just use it simply. Okay, this is just the logo. So beside the cross button, right, there will be a logo which will be visible. So I'm just keeping it for now. I don't have images in my folder. So it will not come, but later on we'll try to do this. Okay, so images, and then we'll have one button for my crossbar, the cross thing. So for this, I'm going to have a class. Let's say here close button. Keep all the class name very simple and very understood, because if you're writing close button, you should know that this is for the close button, right? If you're writing it as anything else, you're not going to understand what CSS, what class have you created, and you will do some mistakes there. So I class, and I'm going to use here fa times. This is for your cross button. Let's see whether I'm getting the cross button. This image I won't be getting, so don't worry about that. Let's first check out whether I'm getting the cross button or not. So you can see here the image is not getting fetched, so that's why it is giving this, but I'm getting the cross button. Okay, so I got this. Now I have to put down the links, the home, about us and all, and the font or some icons. So let's quickly do that. DSA versus dev, what is most important for a fresher? Raman, both is important. Okay, there's no such competition or there's no such comparison. Development, DV, when you talk about DV and DSA, I don't think there is a comparison between these two. DSA, most of the people go and learn because they want to play with logics and they want to go into a FANG company. And most of the FANG companies, most of the very good product companies are asking questions from DSA because they want to check your knowledge in building the logic. Okay, play with logic. When it comes to development, when it comes to web development or something, then there is something else. That is something else. So there are people who love doing development who don't love DSA. Okay, so they just cover up the basics and then they leave it. But some love DSA, some love problem solving. Okay, so it's all upon you, it's all upon the candidate's need. There's no competition or there's no something like a clash. Both are important, both are equally important, and both are equally important for a fresher and for the world. Okay, so we have to contribute in development also, we have to contribute in DSA also. Whether you are a SD, whether you are a developer, you will be doing the same thing. You'll be creating and designing and developing softwares and products. So yeah. Okay, so we have done this. Now this was close button. So now we have to create the links. So let's start creating our links. This div is completed. So let's start creating our links. For the links, what we'll do is we'll start with the UL. We'll give here class. Let's give links, because here we are going to start our links. So li a, not gonna give anything in the href, but close this, and here we are going to write home. Similarly, I'm going to create some more links. So let's just copy this and hit enter, paste it, paste it, paste it, paste it. And here I'm going to change its things. So services, what was next? Portfolio, let's say about, and let's say contact. Right, so these are the some of the links which we have created, and now it's time to create the social media links. So same thing we'll do. Let's do something. I don't know if it is correct way, but let's try to do it. We are going to remove this, and here we are going to just write social icons. This is the same class which we'll be using in our CSS as well. We have the li in href. You can give link. If you don't want to give, don't give it. But instead of home, we are not going to write home. Instead, we are going to give a symbol. So class, here I'm going to use fab fa Facebook. Similarly, I'm going to do it for all others. I think my eye is not getting closed, so let me just close this. Similarly, I'm going to do this for all of them. Let's copy this. Let's paste it here. Let's paste it here. Let's paste it here, and let's paste it here. So this one, I'm just going to change the names. So Twitter, Behance, LinkedIn, and one more, Sketch. Let's see whether we are getting all our symbols here or not, and then we are going to start writing our CSS. Okay, let's save this. Let's go back to my browser and let's check out whether I'm getting all the symbols or not. So all are listed or are links. So everything is coming, everything is in a link. Fine. Till here, any doubts? I hope there's no doubt. One second, just let me check if everything is fine. Okay, cool. So we got this links here. Now we need to change these things because it's not the way how I want. So we need to write CSS based on that. We need to remove the text decoration. We need to put it up in another div, because right now we need to hide this, right? And we need to hide the whole this cross sign part till the last. We need to hide that, and we need to give commands to this button, and we need to give the command to this button as well, right? So that's what we need to do now. So let's go ahead and let's do it. So already our style.css is linked here, and my script.js is also linked. So let's directly move to our style.css and start writing my CSS for this. So CSS is a little bit bigger for this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put down the CSS later on directly. This CSS is little much bigger because there are a lot of rotations, there are a lot of transformations, a lot of transitions. So that's why I'm not going to write the CSS, but the main part is script.js, right? So that's what I'm going to write. So here time being, I'm just copying the CSS, okay, to just show you what is happening. So you can see there's a long CSS which is there for it, because obviously you can see the page, right? The page is much more attractive. If you look here, the page is very attractive. There's a lot of CSS which is given here, right? So 1 second. That's why this CSS is very long. Okay. We'll try to see what CSS is written there. Let's try to just analyze. So we have a font Google API given here for Roboto. You know this, that from the Google API we can get a font. So that font they are just importing, which is Roboto. Okay. And they have given a color to all its primary. Let me tell you what is primary 1, primary 2 basically. So if you look here, we have a property in which what we can do, if suppose we have a particular color, right, or the shades of color, right, you can provide a variable name to it. Let's say this is my color, right? Let me just put it here. This is my color. Okay, this color, I want to use it many times in my code. So every time you will not remember this number, right? 205, 86%, 17%. Every time you will not remember this number. So that's why what do? We give this value to a variable, and the variable name is dash dash CLR dash primary dash 1. This is what the name I've given to this particular color. Okay. Now, anytime I want to use this color, what I'll do, I'll not write the color thing, but I'll be using this variable name itself. So many times you can see here in the code, you can see I've used that, directly the name of that color, right? So all these names from where I'm using, I've given it here. Different colors, different names I've given, right? So you don't need actually these many variables. These are some dark shades of primary color. These are some primary main color. These are some lighter shades. There are some darkest gray. So many developers, what they do, they use lots of shades of one color. Let's say you are choosing one blue color, right? So you will be using many shades of blue color, because in a web page, you don't just put all the multicolors, right? Because your web page will look very dirty. You need to make your web page look like a very good looking web page. Will have only 2 or 3 colors, not more than that. If you can look at this web page, it is having only 2 to 3 colors, white, right, and blue, and one red color. That's it. The shades of blue is there everywhere. You can see a shade of blue is here. You can see a shade of blue is here. You can see a shade of blue is there in the text. You can see a shade of blue is here in the background, and you can see a shade of blue is here. All these shades are different. So we will not be able to remember all these shades of blue, right? That's why what we are doing, we are naming it as variables. So all these are different shades of gray color or red color or green color, and we're just giving a variable name to it. Okay, you can also directly use here, but it's very efficient when you're doing like this. Okay, so if you see here, we have given a font family, and then we have written var ff secondary. If you look here, ff secondary, there is the value. So no, it's not only the color which you can give, but it's also the values which you can give. So in this one secondary, I've given a open sans, but in FF primary, I've given Roboto, the Roboto which I have included here. So you can see, you can give any value a variable, and that variable you can write here. So background color, you can see var color gray 10. Where is CLR gray 10? This one. This is the color which will come there. Gray 1. So this is the color which will come there. So like that, they have done all of these things, all of the numbers and all. Other than that, everything is everything you know. I'm just going to scroll so that later on you can see in the video what is the CSS of it. This is all font size and all. This is all color and all. The main thing which you need to observe here is this part. So you can see transition, var transition. This var transition again is a variable, it's saying. So let's see what is the dash dash transition saying. Dash dash transition is saying all 0.3 seconds linear. Did you observe in the very beginning of the project, I told you that there is a 0.3 seconds of transition. That is what the transition I'm talking about here. Okay. Animation, there's a bounce. Can you see where is it getting applied? Sidebar toggle. Do you remember sidebar toggle? Sidebar toggle is the same thing which is blinking in the beginning. This thing which is blinking, right? This is the sidebar toggle. So to that, what is happening? To that, what I'm doing, to that I am saying animation bounce is bouncing. Bouncing for 2 seconds is in out infinite. Infinite times it will happen. That's why my 3 lines will bounce always. Okay. And sidebar toggle, I've also given a color, which is the blue color, CLR primary 7. And this bounce thing is given 0, 50 and 100. So 3 times it's scaling. When what 1 and 1.5 and 1 again. So 1 will be small, then 1.5, then 1. That's how it is bouncing. The bounce is the name of the animation which I have written here, and it is for 2 seconds. It should be ease and out, and it should be happening infinite times. And how it is the bounce happening? 0%, 50%, 10%. 0% will be scale 1. So scale 1 is this much. Zooming out, scale 1.5, then again scale 1. So if I save this, have a look what's gonna change. So in my browser, this is my page, and you can see it's bouncing. 1, 1.5, 1. Again 1, 1.5, 1. That's how it is changing. Okay, that's how animation has been done. And if I click on this, right now nothing is happening. Why? Because I have not given commands to my JavaScript. So that is the most important part. So CSS again, that's why I'm saying have a look at the CSS. This is a very long CSS. Just have a look what all primary colors and what all things are given. You'll be able to understand everything. Rakesh, hi. I will not be uploading this in GitHub, okay? Because many of the freshers are not knowing how GitHub works. So I'll be doing one thing. I've already told this earlier also. I'll be creating a drive file, Google Drive folder. And in that folder, I will keep all these projects one by one, okay? All these projects one by one. Hi, Manoj Kumar. This sidebar is overlay on viewport or is squeezing main content? Sidebar is overlay on viewport or is squeezing main content? It's not squeezing main content. Have a look. Right now I'm not given the JavaScript, but have a look in this one. It's not squeezing, it's just overlay. The same thing which we did in earlier. Overlay X hidden. That's the same thing. Okay. So that was the CSS. I must have written somewhere overlay. That should be written in the, this is which one? Sidebar, right? Sidebar header. So in the sidebar code, there should be something. Let's just find out. Cursor transition. Okay. Section padding. These all are not there. I don't think overlay is used. I think it's squeezing. Overlay is not used here. No, overlay is not used. I don't think it's actually squeezing the main content. Okay, so good question, Manoj. It is squeezing the main content. Okay, script.js. Let's find out what is the JavaScript part for it. Okay, now we have 2 methods. Okay, and 1 second. I don't think we'll be using any methods. So in JavaScript, what you have to do, we have to just make sure that whenever I'm clicking on any of the button, it's gonna work. So if I click on this, it should come. If I click on this, it should go off, right? That's what we need in our JavaScript code. So let's come back to the code and let's try out what we should do here. Okay. So here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create 3 things. First thing, the toggle button. The toggle button is the first button. The close button is the closing button. So const toggle btn is equal to document dot query selector. I hope you know what is query selector. Sidebar dash toggle. So for this sidebar toggle, I have created a variable which is toggle button. Similarly, I'm going to create another so close button for this document.get document.query selector again. And for this, I'm going to use the dot close button. That is the same class name which I've used in my HTML. Anything is wrong? Something is wrong here. Okay. And one more variable we'll create, which is for sidebar. So for this sidebar, what we are going to give document.query selector sidebar. So for all three, we have created one variables, and we'll now directly use these variables in our JavaScript code. So now what we'll be doing for this toggle button, there is an event which is happening, right? When I'm clicking into this, something is happening. So I'm going to use a click event, right? With this, what should happen? There should be a function running, right? And this function, what should do? This should make the sidebar come into picture. So sidebar dot, all the class list, everything should be coming back as a toggle, and it should show all the sidebar. So what is the name of that? So sidebar. Okay. Now let's give a semicolon. Okay. Let's save this. Let's go back. Let's check out what is happening. So this one is my project. If I click on this, I'm getting this. Okay. And if I close this, nothing is happening because I've not written the code for that. So I've written the code for this and it is working, right? And you can see when I'm clicking on this, once it's coming, and then when I click on it again, it goes back, right? Why this is happening? Because if you look at the code, I have written toggle button, right? And there's a toggle function which I've given. So toggle means you click, something will happen. You click, that thing will get a redo. So that's toggle. So in the click event, I have done sidebar. That means sidebar का जो भी class list है, सब कुछ को लाओ. That means it's all variables, it's all content of a tag and all list, whatever we have created, everything will come inside this class list, and then it'll get toggle. So once I'll click on it, it will come back. Otherwise, it will go back. That's what I've done. And now we'll be writing the code for close button. So toggle button use ho gaya, sidebar use ho gaya. Now we are going to use the close button. So close btn, again add event listener, because I'm going to click on it. So once you click on it, what should happen? A function should get started. So function which will be closing the sidebar. So sidebar dot class list, pura class list, and then remove. Now it's not toggling, it's removing. Which one? The show sidebar, the complete show sidebar. Okay, let's save this. Let's go back to my browser. Let's click on this, and you can see here it's coming back. If I click on this, it's going back. That is closing, that is removing. Here, if I click on this, again, if I click on this, it's toggling. This is closing, removing. Okay, the picture is not coming because I've not used any Unacademy ka logo, but if you want to use that logo, will come here. This is happening because of my CSS. In the CSS, maybe I've written some code where I've said that the logo should be placed on the top right corner, top left corner, right? So the only CSS is the thing which I have not explained here, but I think it's manageable. You can do it. And this is a very good example of sidebar. Still, I'll prefer the first one, the first sidebar which I've shown you, because there's not much of animation you want in your web page. This is having a lot of animations. Don't try to create your web page look like crazy one. Okay, it should be very very decent one, right? So that's why it's not important to add everything in your project. So this was your sidebar, and I hope you understood this. Now let's create a hamburger menu. Okay, and let's try to understand how a hamburger menu works. So I'm going to create a folder here. Let's say hamburger menu ka icon. Okay, and in this one what we'll do, we'll try to create a hamburger menu, just the icon, nothing else, not any JS, nothing clicked, nothing else. So I don't know if this didn't get created, right? I'll show you first how does this look like, and then I'll explain you why I'm teaching you that. Because let me just show you why I'm teaching you that. So hamburger menu, right? Let's open this up. Let's open it with live server, and let me just show you how did this appear. So have a look. I'll just close this. Okay, you can see this just this much, and it's in the center. Obviously none of the hamburger menu will be in the center, but because this project is just explaining you the hamburger menu, I have kept it in the center. It will be mostly in the left part. Okay, now once I'm hovering, you can see what's happening, right? It's becoming a cross, correct? It's becoming a cross. Once I remove, again it's becoming a menu. So how to do this? Because this will be really cool in your web page, right? This will be really cool. Imagine that if you are opening your same thing, the same sidebar, and once you hover into this, when you're hovering, once you hover itself, right, this sidebar opens, and this should become a close sign, and once you hover again, that becomes vanish. So you don't have to click itself, you'd have to just hover, and once you hover, everything is happening. So there should be no click event. Once you just hover, everything should happen, right? So how to do that? Now the main trick here is of CSS, right? And please have a look. Can you see 3 lines there, right? Now these 3 lines are getting converted into a cross. Yes, a cross is having only 2 lines, and here we have only 3 lines. And whenever I am hovering, the first line, if you just notice, you can notice the first line is converting into the diagonal one line, and the last line is getting converted into the diagonal another line. The mid line is getting vanished. Can you see that? The mid line is getting vanished. So that's the concept here. That's the thing here which we need to focus on. So let's try to do this. Let's try to create this. Okay. So I'm going to go back to my code. Index.html will not have anything here because I don't have any content. It's just empty. So I'll just create div elements. That's it. So I'm just going to write here understanding hamburger menu. Okay, and in the body I'm just going to write div elements, nothing else, because this is the game of CSS and nothing else. So I'm just putting out a center, and I'm just going to put up here div, because there is no content for this. Just going to save this, and here I'm going to just put down a link which will say that it should go to style.css. Okay, let's save this. Let's click on here, and let's move to the CSS. Now in the CSS we have to do a lot of things, right? So let's try to find out what all things we'll write. Now first of all, let's change the color of the body, and let's try to put down some colors here. So let's say my color which I'm using here is black. Next I'm going to give a margin 0, padding 0, and box sizing I'll say here it as border box. Okay, these things are very self-explanatory, so I don't have to explain this something. This center class is the div, and we want the content of this div to be in the center. So I'm giving top 50%, left 50%, so that whatever the content will come inside this div will come in the center. I'm going to give a transform. I'm going to give translate here, and I'm just going to give here -50% and -50%. Why am I doing that? Because there's a translation happening in my menu bar. So that's why I'm doing this. Position, I'm going to just put down here as absolute, because this is the child element. This is the parent child div, so we should have a absolute. Width I'm going to just give here as 50 pixel. Let's try it out what is happening. So have a look. We have not actually run this particular thing, so let's go to index.html and let's open it with live server. And now you can see in the browser the black screen I'm getting, nothing else, because right now the menu is itself not there, right? So nothing is happening, but we know that if I put something in my div, that will present in the center, because I've given top, left, and some translations also, some transitions also, right? So that's gonna be there. Let's come back to the code, style.css, and let's try to create here some things. Now whatever is gonna happen here is gonna happen to the center itself, right? So what I'm going to do, before, after, and to the inner div, we are going to do something. Okay, so we are going to give a background color. Let's say the background color is lime, and we are going to give a content which will be just an empty box, and we are also going to give a display here which will present it as a block, and we'll have a height, let's say 6 pixel. This is all for your 3 lines. This is all for your 3 lines. So I've given border radius, let's give 3 pixel, and I'm going to give a margin, let's say 7 pixel 0, and also a transition of 0.5 seconds. Okay, let's try to see. So if I go back to my browser, you can see here now this is coming. Now observe how this came, from where this particular thing came, because I did not write anything. I did not write any particular thing. Have a look. If I go to inspect, right? If I just open this up, go to body, go to div, you can see here, this is before. Can you see that? The space? Can you see that space? That is before. This is div, the middle one, and this is after. So all 3 green colored spaces which you can see, right? The green colored spaces, this is before, this is div, and this is after. So what's happening in my code? I've written before, after, and div. So in all of these three things, I'm providing a lime color, a content which is nothing, and a display which is block, and a height 6 pixel. So understand how I'm creating that menu. I've never used this thing, right? Which I have used in full screen bar. I was using here this thing, right? Where was it? Where is it? This thing. I did not use it there. Also, the same thing I was using in my sidebar also. I was using the same thing, FF times, right? I have never used these things there, right? Then also it is giving me that particular bar. How come it is giving me that bar? Because it's a display block which is having a height of 6 pixel. 6 pixel is very less. So 6 pixel में अगर मैंने लाइम कलर दिया है तो वो दिखेगा, क्योंकि बैकग्राउंड ब्लैक है. थोड़ा सा भी अगर स्पेस आप दे रहे हो, उसमें अगर 6 पिक्सल है, उसमें अगर कुछ कलर दे रहे हैं तो वो कलर ऑब्जर्व हो जाएगा, राइट? वो दिख जाएगा कलर. इफ आई इंक्रीज दिस टू 15, right? And if I go back to my this, if I just save this, can you see वो स्पेस बड़ा हो गया, उसका हाइट बड़ा हो गया. So that's how I'm giving that menu bar. Okay, so let's come back to the code. Let's give here again 6 and let's save this. So now border radius मतलब वो curve जो let's go back. So ये curve दिख रहा होगा आपको. Let me just zoom in. Can you see the curve? Can you see this curve? This curve is nothing but this part 3 पिक्सल. अगर मैं इस कर्व को थोड़ा और ज़्यादा कर दूंगा तो पूरा सर्कल हो जाएगा, एक सर्कल बन जाएगा. So that's what I don't want. I want just a little bit of curve around the edges, and that's why I've given that. So that border radius is there. Okay. The next thing I've given is what? Margin 7 pixel 0. You know this. So that सारे div में थोड़े थोड़े differences होने चाहिए, right? Before, after and the current div. Before div, current div and after div में थोड़े थोड़े margins होने चाहिए. That margin I've given. So observe again. The margin is only given to top and bottom. We need it for only top and bottom. See, top and bottom. Left and right में margin देखिए क्या ही मिलेगा. So only for top and bottom we have given the margin. And transition we have given 0.5 seconds. अभी transition काम नहीं करेगा because we have not given any transition. So we'll write the code for transition and then we'll check out, right? So I hope you observe this thing. There's no confusion in how do we get this, right? Because many times people will not get understand कि ये यहाँ से आया कहाँ से. मैंने तो कुछ लिखा ही नहीं, टाइम्स मैंने यूज़ ही नहीं किया, ना मैंने मेन्यू बार कहीं पे दिया, ना मैं फॉन्ट ऑसम यूज़ कर रहा हूँ, तो ये आया कहाँ से. This is how it came. So this can be a interview question as well, right? So please these things notice करना आप लोग, right? Let's go back to the code. Let's go back to the style. अभी complete नहीं हुआ है. So let's start writing that. Now we have to do three things, okay? Before, after and div. These are three things, right? We know that before is the first line, after is the third line, and div is the middle one, correct? And do you remember once I started this project, I told you that first line is getting into diagonal shape, and then the last line is getting into diagonal shape, and the between one is getting vanished, right? That's what we need to do. So in the center, if I hover into the before line, that is the first line, it should transform. It should get transformed. It should get transformed. How it should get transformed? It should get transformed in a y direction. What is y direction? Vertical, right? So इस vertical direction को मैं थोड़ा सा ऐसे कर दूंगा तो diagonal हो जाएगा. So here what I'm going to give 12 pixel, and I'm going to rotate it 135 degree. Cool. मैंने क्या किया यहाँ पे, मैंने बस वो जो पहला वाला लाइन था उसको बोला कि इसको वर्टिकल ले लो और उसको थोड़ा सा टिल्ट कर दो, रोटेट कर दो. So if I save this, now if I go back to my browser, you can see here, if I hover, only the first line will change to a cross. Can you see? Only the first line is changing into a vertical direction first and then to a rotate. Similar thing, can I do it to the last thing, last वाला button, after वाला? So उसमें भी same करते हैं. यहाँ पे इसको दे देते हैं center और over. यहाँ पे after हो जाएगा, right? और after के बाद यहाँ पे translate y में -12 pixel करेंगे, because now that down part will get tilted like this, right? So it's minus, वो ऐसे सीधा होगा, not like this. And now when it will tilt here, I'm going to rotate it -135. See, 135 is this, right? So -135 will be this. That's what I'm doing here. So I'll just write here -135 degree. Let's save this. Let's go back to my browser and let's see. So पहला before वाला अपने को पता था ऐसे हो जाता है, तो नीचे वाला कैसा हो जाएगा? पहला वाला लाइन ऐसे हो रहा है तो नीचे वाला लाइन ऐसे हो रहा है, right? That's what is happening. But still the middle line is still there. It's giving an asterisk, right? It's designing an asterisk. We don't want that. We want to vanish that asterisk. We don't want that asterisk now. So sorry, we don't want that middle line now. So go to the code, same cheese. Let's write center over. Abhi this time we are doing it for div. So let's write here div, and now we are going to write transform. Transform mein, now what we'll do is, see, we don't want to do anything to this, right? So let's just say scale 0. Scale 0 क्या करेगा? Vanish कर देगा उसको. So let's just save this and let's go back to my code. Sorry, the browser. And now if I look at the middle one, don't look at the first and the last one. Look at the middle one. What is happening? What? One second. Achha, sorry. This after and before is the pseudo classes. Div is not a pseudo class. That's why it is not working. Now it's correct. Let's check out. So look at the middle one. Don't look at anything else. Just look at the middle one. It got vanished. Scale zero. Scale zero means उसको पूरा zero कर दिया हम लोग. वो दिखना नहीं चाहिए. So now it's working. Any doubt in this? कोई भी डाउट इस वाले प्रोजेक्ट पे प्लीज डू लेट मी नो. ठीक है. So we got this, and now let's move to the next project. And this was Hamburger Menu, right? So one second, let me just check out कौन कौन सा हमने कर लिया, right? So we have done landing page, we have done form validation, we have done counter, we have done sidebar, right? We have done full screen, we have done Hamburger Menu. Let me show you drag and drop, because this is one of the questions which can be asked in your interview. So that's why it's very important. So let me just design that one once. This is really important for you guys, because this I have not taken in my theory sessions. So let's take it now itself. Drag and drop. Explain once again. Which one? Are you talking about Hamburger Menu? Let me explain it once again then. So let me close this. Let's come back here. Let me comment it. Wait, I'll explain you again. Just give me 1 minute of time. So have a look, okay? I'm just saving this. There's no style.css, okay? So there's nothing in the body. You can see here, there's nothing. It's just div class center, div. That's it. There's nothing. It's just the class name which I've given. So have a look in the web page. It's also, there's nothing here, right? Now let's coming back to the CSS. What we are going to do is, first of all, we are giving the something to the body, right? So to the body, we have given background color black, margin 0, padding 0, box sizing, border box. Let's save this. And what do you expect? You expect that the background color will become black, and because there is no content, so margin और padding का पता तो चलेगा नहीं, और box sizing border box है वो भी पता चलेगा नहीं, क्योंकि कोई content है ही नहीं हमारे web browser में, हमारे web page में, right? So you can see here, this is just the background color black, nothing can be observed here. So let's write some more code. So what I've done that, एक जो हमारे पास div था, उस div को हमने कुछ style दे दिया. यहाँ पे हमारे पास div था, right? उस div का नाम था class center. So center div को हमने top 50, left 50, top 50, left 50 मतलब center में कुछ element आएगा. ट्रांसफॉर्म ट्रांसलेट, दैट मीन्स वो जो सेंटर में है वो वहीं पे रहेगा, -50 मतलब सेंटर पे रहेगा, वेब पेज के एकदम सेंटर पे. वाई डू वी गिव दिस ट्रांसफॉर्म ट्रांसलेट -50 सो दैट अगर आप वेब ब्राउजर का जो साइज है वो अगर आप रिसाइज भी करोगे तो भी इट विल बी इन द सेंटर. इफ यू डोंट राइट दिस एंड इफ यू रिसाइज द ब्राउजर, दैट थिंग विल नॉट बी इन द सेंटर. ओके, position absolute width 50 pixel, that is what we have given. But this thing is applied to what? This thing is applied to div, this div. but हमारे पास कुछ है क्या? अभी div के अंदर कुछ नहीं है. चलिए मान लीजिए मैंने यहाँ पे कुछ लिख दिया, let's say I'm writing here Ritwik, right? and let's save this as well, right? So have a look what is happening. So ऋत्विक कंटेंट जो था, ऋत्विक कंटेंट जो मैंने लिखा था वो एकदम मिडिल में आया हुआ है. अगर मैं इस पर्टिकुलर पेज वेब ब्राउजर को रिसाइज भी करूंगा तो भी वो सेंटर में ही रहेगा, और उसका जो साइज है वो 36 पिक्सल है. दैट्स व्हाट आई, उसका जो विड्थ है वो 50 पिक्सल है. दैट्स व्हाट आई हैव गिवन हियर, राइट? एंड दैट्स व्हाई इट्स कमिंग हियर. बट राइट नाउ मैंने अपने कोड पे कुछ नहीं लिखा है. आई डोंट वांट टू गिव एनीथिंग हियर, एंड दैट्स व्हाई यू कैन नॉट सी एनीथिंग इन दी ब्राउजर ऑल्सो. सो आई एम जस्ट सेइंग दैट कुछ भी एलिमेंट अगर बाद में फ्यूचर में डिव में आता है तो वो सेंटर में ही रहेगा. ओके, दैट्स व्हाई आई हैव रिटन दैट कोड. फाइन. नाउ लेट्स राइट दिस पार्ट. सो दिस पार्ट इज रियली इंपॉर्टेंट बिकॉज व्हाट वी आर डूइंग इज सेंटर के पहले और सेंटर के बाद और सेंटर का जो डिव है, इन तीनों में हमें कुछ डालना है. So what we are doing here is we are creating this thing. Okay, how we are creating, let's have a look. So if you go to inspect, if you open this body, if I just close this, if I just drag it down and I open this div, you can see here div class center के अंदर सिर्फ div था. div के पहले मैंने एक ग्रीन कलर का कुछ बार डाल दिया, div भी मैंने भी एक कुछ ग्रीन कलर का बार डाल दिया, और आफ्टर में मैंने फिर से कुछ ग्रीन कलर का बार डाल दिया. सो 3 बार एक ग्रीन कलर का कुछ बार आया है. कैसे आया वो बार? वो बार इसलिए आया क्योंकि मैंने यहाँ पे बैकग्राउंड कलर लाइन दिया है और डिस्प्ले ब्लॉक रखा है. जब भी आप डिस्प्ले ब्लॉक रखते हो, दैट मीन्स इट विल टेक द होल विड्थ. यहाँ पे मैंने एक हाइट दे दिया 6 पिक्सल का, दैट मीन्स ओनली दैट height will be there, that only that much height. You can see here only this much height. If you want to increase the height, you can increase it, it will increase. Border radius 3 पिक्सल, मतलब वहाँ पे जो कर्व है वो कर्व मैंने वहाँ पे दिया है 3 पिक्सल का. You can see this curve, right? This curve is happening because of 3 pixel. And then also I have given margin 7 pixel and 0. 7 pixel and 0 means 7 pixel means top and bottom, 0 means left and right. So here you can see only top and bottom I have given some margin so that ये space आ जाए. ये जो space है यहाँ पे, ये space यहाँ पे आ जाए. That's why I have given that margin. And another thing which I have done is transition. Now if I uncomment this portion, क्या मैं बोल रहा हूँ? मैं बोल रहा हूँ अगर आप before वाले में, before कौन सा है? Before ये पहले वाला है. अगर इसमें मैं hover करूँगा तो कुछ होना चाहिए. क्या होना चाहिए? अगर मैं इसे ओवर करूंगा तो ट्रांसलेट वाई 12 पिक्सल, मतलब कि वो चीज वाई में आ जाना चाहिए. ओके, एंड 12 पिक्सल एंड रोटेट 135 डिग्री एंड रोटेट हो जाना चाहिए. सो दैट्स व्हाट आई एम डूइंग राइट नाउ. सो इफ आई गो बैक एंड इफ आई डू दिस, यू कैन सी it is first converting into an horizontal and then rotating 135 degree. The same thing I'll be doing to other codes as well. For the after also I'm doing the same thing. Let's save this, let's go back. You can see here, अगर मैं फिर से ओवर करूं तो नीचे वाला हो रहा है अब. The down part is changing. And why is it doing ulta? Because I've given minus 12 pixel और minus 135. So जो पहले ऐसे हो रहा था वो अब ऐसे डाउन हो जा रहा है, और जो पहले ऐसे आ रहा था वो अब ऐसे आ रहा है. Right? That's what is happening. And center hover div, the middle one, the middle line, what I'm doing, the middle line I'm just saying scale 0. Scale 0 means वो वहाँ से vanish ही हो जाएगा. So if you say at the middle one, the middle line is getting vanished. Manoj, I hope you got this. So let's go ahead and do the drag and drop code now. I'll just close this and I'll create some file and folders in my drag and drop. For drag and drop, we need all the 3 things. So let's just create it. Index.html, style.css, script.js, and we'll have one more picture here. Let me just drop that picture in my folder itself. So you can see here one picture has come here. This is this picture, and now we'll start writing the code. So we'll just write here understanding drag and drop. Please understand this very carefully because this will be having some complications. I'm just writing understanding drag and drop. CSS again इसका भी मैं copy करूँगा because CSS में कुछ नहीं रखा है. Is the script which you need to understand. So script will try to understand how this is happening. Okay. Now in the body, see what do we want. Let me just show you the result first. Can you see this? So this is the result, okay? And what we are doing here is, you have the picture here, you have a box here. If I drag it here, it's gonna come here, okay? And this is what is drag and drop. And in many of the web pages, you will see this thing. So how this is happening, how this is getting dragged and how this is getting dropped there. So some things are JavaScript, some things will happen through JavaScript, but some things will happen through CSS as well. So let's try it out and let's write the code for this. Okay. So here, first of all, what we are going to do is we are going to link our CSS and we are going to also link our script. src script.js. Okay. And in the body, we are going to just type down the code for this. So we want two boxes, right? And in one of the boxes, I want the image, right? So let's create that. Let's say first container, I'm going to have an ID here. So let's say I'm going to create an ID div1. Now, once you on click on this, then something should happen, right? Once you're clicking on this, something should happen. And that should be the drop event. So this thing, I'll be writing a function in the JavaScript code. Now, did you notice what I was doing in my browser? Did you notice what I was doing here? I was clicking on it, not only clicking, but when I was clicking and dragging, right? So do you think dragging is also an event? Yes, dragging is an event, right? So for dragging also we need to write the event here. So for that, what you have to write? Here we need to write on drag. So on drag over. On drag over, we need something to happen. So allow drop. Allow drop is an again one thing which will be written inside JavaScript, right? It's a function which will be written inside JavaScript. Right now, I'm just closing in this manner. Okay. Now inside this div, this is the first div. This is the first div. So inside this div, we need one image, right? The image src. Let's say the image name is, what is the name of the image which we have used? 1.jpg. 1.jpg. And here we are going to give draggable. Now what is this draggable? Draggable means whether the image can be draggable or not. So you have to give here true because it should be draggable. If you write false, you won't be able to pull it. Okay. So on drag start, we are going to give again an event which is drag. So how many functions do we have now? We have drop, we have drag, we have allow drop, right? So this drag event will also start working. I'm going to give an ID here. Let's say drag 1. Fine. So you have these tiny things only in the first div. Now we have to create the second div. So for the second div, I'll just copy this because it's going to look the same. This is the second div. I'm going to just name it as div2. The same things is going to happen because you can drag from above to down also and down to above also. Same thing is going to happen. And I'm going to just write a script.js. That's it. Because in the second one, we don't want an image, right? So this is what is your design structure right now. If I run this in my live server and just go back to my browser, let me just close this and have a look. There's just image coming. क्योंकि div का मैंने border नहीं दिया ना. Div में मैंने border नहीं दिया. ये वाला जो border यहाँ पे आपको दिख रहा है, ये border मैंने वहाँ पे दिया ही नहीं है अभी. Correct? And still here you have the div. अगर आपको विश्वास नहीं हो रहा है तो have a look here. ये जो div है, can you see what is showing? And this div, can you see what is showing? ऐसे भी नहीं नजर आ रहा है तो just let me look here. Can you see when I'm clicking on this, it's showing the one div and this is another div. ठीक है? That is how it is showing me. So again, let me just try it out. ये रहा पहला div और ये रहा दूसरा div. दूसरे div में कुछ नहीं है, so it's empty. What is the error? हाँ, वो drop is not defined. I have not written the whole code. That's why it is saying. So I hope everything is correct. Drop ka event, allow drop, drag and drop. So we have drag event, we have allow drop and we have drop. These three functions should be written inside my JavaScript, right? So first of all, let's check out CSS कितना बड़ा है and let's do some CSS here. So hash div1, hash div2. Let's start giving some of the, one second, why there's no comma? Yeah, let's start giving some of the CSS properties to this. So first of all, we want a particular width to it. So let's say 252 pixel. And we want a particular height to it. So let's say 225 pixel. And let's say we want a margin to it. So let's say we are giving 10 pixel. And also we are giving padding. This is what will be showing me the space around the border. So before this, let me just give a border also. I'm going to give a border. Let's say 1 pixel. Solid and black in color. And then we have the margin and padding. You know how with border how margin and padding will work. And now we'll put up here a display which will say flex. So I'm using a flex display, right? And in display flex, I'm going to use justify content, where I'm going to put up center because everything should be in center. Also, I'll be doing align items so that the image will be in the center. So now for every image, everything will be in the center because I've done display flex. So now let's check out both the div elements. So if you look here, both the div elements are designed, and but the image is really big and that's why it's not getting fit in. So we'll fix this image inside that first div, but we are getting the border here, right? If you inspect, you can find the first border behind the image. Behind the image, we have the first border. Can you see? Can you see that blue color thing? That's the first div border, and this is the second div border. So we just need to fix this image inside that div, and that's what we are going to do in the next part. Okay, so let's go back to the code and let's fix my image there. Okay, so how this image is gonna fix there, because my image width and height is really very big. So I'm going to fix this image with the same width which I've given for my div. So I'm going to give here 252 pixel, and height also I'm going to just give here 225. If I give the same amount of width and height to my image, the div container will contain the image and will look now clearly. So if you look here, now it's perfect. Now it's perfectly fitting in. The image was earlier bigger, but now it is perfectly fitting in. Now I can drag this, but I cannot put it here. I am not able to put it here, right? Because I've not written the functions, the logics about it, right? So let's go to the script.js and start writing the logic. Now please understand the logic which I'll be writing. 3 functions are there. Let's understand how these 3 functions are written. So first of all, we have allow drop, right? To this allow drop, what I'll be doing, I'll be passing one of the variable, right? And we'll just say prevent default. Okay. Now prevent default is a predefined thing, right? I'll explain you what is this. We'll write function drag, here also ev. This is the drag function which we are writing. I hope it's not capital D. Yes, it's not capital D. So function drag. So drag means it will drag, right? So when you're dragging, right? When you're dragging anything, correct? How you're going to drag? Have a look. Here, allow drop when you're written. Allow drop you have written when it is on drag over, right? That means if I go to my web page, on drag over means if you're clicking and you're dragging. So when you're dragging, once you will click and drag, this event will get started. What is that event? Allow drop. What is this allow drop doing? It is having an event in the hand, right? And in the hand, that event is doing prevent default, right? We'll come back to that prevent default, but have a look at function drag. So drag is also happening at the same time. You can see here the image you're dragging, right? So once you're dragging that image, something should happen. What should happen? Have a look. So what I'm going to do here is ev, once you drag that image, all the data of that image will be transferred to a next div, right? So that's what I'm doing here. Even if it's a text, it's gonna drag it and it's gonna put down in the target. Wherever you're putting it, it's gonna put down there. Okay, that's what I've done. So again, I'm making you understand, whatever element you're dragging, once you're clicking on that image and you're dragging, this event will get called, this function will get called, and this function, what is it doing? Whatever event was happening there, whatever event drag was happening there, it will transfer the whole data. That means the whole image. Even if it's a text, it will do it. Even if it's a text, it will transfer. So that's why it is named as data transfer. It will data transfer and set the data, whatever the data we have got this data, either it can be a text or an image, but we write text here. So it sets that that dragged data to the target element wherever we want it. Okay, so let's save this and let's check out what changes we have. You won't be able to say anything. You won't be able to see anything. It's just that you are dragging, nothing is happening. So in this, what we have done is we just know that once you click on it, right, the drag event has started. The drag event is started. It has taken all the information of this image and it is setting the data into the target place. This is my target place. This is where I'm dropping. So drop event is not written till now, right? Drop event is not written. So drop is here. Can you see drop event? So that's what we need to write. So for drop event, what we'll do, we'll write a code. So here what I'm going to do, we'll write a code for drop event. So for drop event, again, we'll take the event name, right? And here we'll write again ev.prevent default. And next I'm going to put down here where data equal to ev.data transfer dot get data. So from the text, whatever data it's gonna fetch, either it's a text or an image, from the text, whatever data it will get, that will come inside data transfer and it will get inside the data variable. Okay. And that data variable, I will put it inside the target. So target, inside the target, what I'm going to do, I'm going to append child. That means I'm going to add that. I'm going to use document dot get element by ID and the ID will be data. So again, let me make you understand. So what we did, whatever text record we got, in this text we have all the data, right? So all this data, whatever data we have dragged, those all data from the text coming inside data transfer and then going inside data. And then we have the data variable and we know the target, we have the target. In that target, we are just appending that particular data with document.getInById. Let's save this. Let's go back. Let's drop it. There's something wrong. Prevent default ev.data transfer. There's some spelling mistake, I guess. Can anybody find any mistake? There must be some spelling mistake. Or else I've written a function name wrong. Allow drop, drag. Guys, if you can find something, please do let me know. Otherwise, I'll just check it out what's happening. Is there error log in browser console? No, there's no error in the browser console. There's no error in the browser console. Let's check. There is some silly mistake which I've done. Let's check out the code itself. So we have div 1, we have drop event, allow drop, drag, draggable on drag start, src. There should be some problem in JavaScript, I believe. Yeah, sorry. It's not on click, guys. It's on drop. When you're dropping, it's on drop. Let's check out now. Yeah, it's working. So obviously we are dropping there, right? You're not clicking there. In the second div, you're dropping it. So that's what is happening. Okay. Now I think here also, because it's not going back, but in the earlier one, it's going back. So I think here also it will on drop. Let's check out. So yes, here also we'll have on drop, not on click. In both the divs, we have given on drop so that you can drop that particular image. Here it's getting dropped, here it's getting dropped. How is it getting work? Let's check out. Okay, let's go to inspect. Let's go to sources. 1 second. I've never shown you this kind of thing, right? I've never shown you how HTML and CSS, if you use debugger, how it works, correct? So let's try to see this once in a while, okay? So what I'm going to do is, let's see, I'm running this. Okay, let's say I'm running this. So this is the first thing, right? And in the call stack you can see that, one second, let me just start again. Yeah, so here you can see in call stack there's nothing happening, right? There's nothing happening in the call stack. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just do the event. So what event I've done, I clicked on it and I was dragging it, and once I did that, this debugger getting started. This debugger got started. So what is happening here? ev.data transfer, that means all the data is getting transferred, right? Next, let's see what is happening. It's going to the curly bracket. So which particular event is running right now? Drag event, right? That's what I've shown you. If you look at the code, what I did, I came up here, I clicked on the image and I dragged it, right? So drag event first will get executed. What is in the drag event? Drag event is saying get all the data of that particular product and put it down in the target ID, right? So that's what is happening right now. So if I look here, if I again run this, you can see now it's over, correct? So if I again click on it, you can see again this is happening, and you can see in the drag and on drag strat is there in the call stack, right? So whenever you drag, this thing is gonna work. Okay, function drag will first work, right? So that is what is working first, and then I'm going to let's close this because this is moving into my different parts. So that's how it is working, right? So first drag is working, and then next drop, the drop thing is working. Okay, that's how this particular drag and drop thing is working. Fine. So the error was really simple. It was not on click, it was drop. I hope you got this. Let me just close everything and let's just start doing one more part, which is navigation bar. So let's try to do a navigation bar. You already know about it. Let's try to create this nav bar. This nav bar will be having a media query, so that's why I'm creating this index.html, and I will also have here some more things. Let me just check out. In the nav bar we'll have style.css as well. Okay, and let's just create this. I'm gonna create this, let's say here a navigation bar, and let's save it and let's check out what codes will write. First of all, let me just show you what result it will give you. Let me just open it up. Okay, so you can see here, this is what is the result. But if you go to inspect, if you go to mobile part, right, you can see here this is the way how it is looking right now. But if you drag it down, you can see it's becoming a menu bar, and once you click on it, this is how it drags down. This is how it is opening all my menu. So we have seen one full screen bar, we have seen one sidebar, and now this is something which is getting dropped down from the top and is giving me the menu bar, right? And you can see this is the same color which is happening here in this color. So it looks like it's coming from here itself, right? And if you drag it, it's gonna show you everything. So we're using media query here for sure, and let's design it. Again, we are not going to do this completely. I'm not going to show you the complete code by doing it because it's already 2 hours and we are completing the session. So let's try to directly write the code for it. Okay, let's go to the code and let's try to write down the main content first, which is the div class. We are going to give here nav, and we are also going to give here input, okay, which will be a checkbox. I'm going to give here a checkbox, and I'm going to give a ID where I'll be writing nav check. Okay, the next thing, I'm going to give a class nav header, and to this I'll be writing div class nav title, and this title I'll just say it as CodeBeyond. So the title is completed. This div is completed. Let's write here one more div which will have the buttons. I'm going to create one button, and here I'm going to create a label. In this label, I'm going to just write here for nav check. In this one, I'm going to create 4 span. So let's just copy it. Okay. And also I'll be closing the label and the div. Once this is done, I'm going to create the links. So div class nav links, and here I'm going to start getting the links. So let's say a, let's say href, it will be empty, and here I'm going to give a, let's not give the target and all, let's start giving the names of it. So let's say Facebook. Okay, this is what we have created. Now first of all, we'll not see what is happening here, but let's first see what is happening in the previous, in the main file, in the main browser, in the output itself. You can see here there's a lot of things. You can see a particular bar here which is having a gray color, and then on the left hand side we can see CodeBeyond, on the right hand side we can see all of these things, right? And there's nothing else. But when I drag it, when I use this mobile thing and when I drag it, you can see this menu bar, right? So we have these things here, right? And to this menu bar, we have a lot of ways how we can create this menu thing, right? We have seen that we can do div, and we can do before, after, and then div, and we can also use some of the font awesome icons to do this, right? But right now here in this one, we are creating it in a different manner. So what we're doing is we have given here span. Can you observe? We did this span here, right? This span will give me the 3 lines there. How it's going to give me 3 lines? By using CSS. So let's save this and let's check out what is it giving me first of all. So if you look here, this is what is giving me right now. So all the links, the main title, and before that I have this checkbox here, right? And the span is after the CodeBeyond. The span is after the CodeBeyond, right? That's what it is giving me right now. So let's do the CSS now and let's see what we can do here. So here, I've not linked it. So just let me link it. Let's say style.css. Let's save it. Let's go to the CSS and let's write the CSS for it. So in the CSS, have a look what is the code. You can see here we have used a lot of combinators. These are all the normal things, you know already what are these. But have a look, we have used here a lot of combinators, right? We have used a lot of combinators here, and you know what is a combinator. So when you're using this, it's display inline to the nav and nav header. Nav header, nav header, nav title, again display inline block. Again, this is having the same thing, display none. Again, this is using the combinator display inline. Again, this is using the same thing, display inline block, and this goes on, right? And media query, we have given those things, right? So I'll just scroll from up to down, have a look what is the code written, and try to understand what is happening here, because I've explained you combinator, you will be easily understanding this part, okay? And then try to apply this in your code and try to see whether it is giving you the same output or not. So I'm just going to scroll. Okay, I've given you the code. Just try to look at it, try to see what's happening. You know this, what is this congruent symbol doing here? What is this greater than symbol doing here? These are all combinators which we have used. So try these combinators and try to see what output you are getting. Right now, I'll just show you what it is giving me. So if you look here, it is giving me this part. And if I go to inspect and if I do that, you can see it's gonna give me all of those things, right? So it is working fine. So please try to do this, and that's your assignment, right? And I'll meet you really soon. So this was all of the projects which we have done, and I hope that you enjoyed a lot. And we are done with the JS projects. We are done with the JS interview questions. There are some of the sessions which is left. I'll just gonna tell you what are those. We have advanced JavaScript session which will happen, advanced JavaScript part 5 that will happen, and also CSS preprocessors. So today I'm not taking any sessions. Those sessions will be postponed to tomorrow. So let's meet you tomorrow. We'll be understanding JavaScript advanced part and CSS preprocessors like SAS and less and SCSS. What are those things? And then we are going to start with Bootstrap and jQuery. Okay, so I'll meet you soon. Please join the Telegram channel, because you'll get all the notifications and updates about all the educators in this channel. So link is in the given description. Please go ahead and join the Telegram channel. Also, please do subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is CodeBeyond, and please hit the notification bell so that you get an update and notifications in the YouTube app as well. And please like and share. This will reach out to maximum people, because this is free content and most of the people will able to understand how this works, right? So please do like and share with everybody of yours, like classmates or roommates or fellow mates, everybody. Thank you so much, guys. I'll meet you really soon. Bye bye.